Stop scrolling, because 2 years of waiting just paid off. Caitlin Clark, Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Chennedy Carter, unemployed. On July 7th, 2026, the Las Vegas Aces waived Chennedy Carter. 2 days after Carter played her last game in an Aces uniform, 0 points, in a blowout loss to the Indiana Fever, the team of the woman she attacked. Her last performance as an ace, 0 points against Clark's team. 2 days later, gone. Dream, Sparks, Sky, Aces, 4 teams, 5 years, same story. At some point, the pattern is the player. And Becky Hammon, the championship coach who gave Carter the best opportunity of her career, walked to the podium when asked about her and delivered exactly 5 words. We aren't going to comment on players that aren't here anymore. 5 words. No explanation, no defense, a closed door. While Carter was being waived, Clark was being named Eastern Conference Player of the Month. June 1st, 2024, Carter hip-checked Clark away from the ball, celebrated, encouraged harm. July 7th, 2026, Clark is Player of the Month. Carter is packing her bags. The sport has spoken. Tonight, 2 years of this story, how we got here, and why this moment is the most satisfying thing that has happened in the 2026 WNBA season. To understand why July 7th matters so much, you need to go back to June 1st, 2024. Caitlin Clark was a rookie, less than a month into her WNBA career, doing everything right, playing the game cleanly, proving every doubter wrong. Chennedy Carter, a veteran with 4 years of professional experience, walked up behind Clark, away from the ball, away from any active play, and delivered a deliberate hip check that sent Clark crashing to the floor. The referee called a flagrant one. Not an ejection, not a suspension, a flagrant one. Carter's response? She turned to the crowd and gestured like she had just done something worth celebrating. No check on Clark, no acknowledgement. She turned her back and kept moving. And then she made it worse. In the days after the incident, Carter shared a social media post encouraging someone to physically hurt Caitlin Clark the next time. CBS Sports confirmed it in their coverage of the waiving. We are not paraphrasing. We are not exaggerating. A post encouraging harm against our player. The WNBA gave her a flagrant one and moved on. Carter finished that season leading the entire league in flagrant fouls. 4 of them, league leading. The Chicago Sky did not resign her. Multiple sources told the Chicago Sun-Times the organization had concerns about her locker room behavior and that her presence would negatively affect their ability to attract other players. She went overseas, played in Mexico, tried to come back, and the Las Vegas Aces, the defending champions, gave her another chance. Here is what the Aces' chance looked like in the beginning, because it genuinely seemed like a new chapter. May 2026, Carter was producing 20-plus points 4 times off the bench. Efficient, aggressive, exactly what a championship team wants from a reserve. Becky Hammon, one of the most respected coaches in women's basketball, called her a spark plug, said she had fit in beautifully on and off the court, said the Aces embrace her. All Carter had to do was keep doing exactly that. No pressure to carry a team, no expectation to be the star. Come off the bench, score buckets, be a professional. She could not even do that without blowing it up. June 2026. The Aces lost to the Dallas Wings. Carter was assigned to guard rookie Azzi Fudd. After the loss, instead of being accountable, she went on Threads and posted, "Not to mention, I made her ankle touch the ground, but y'all can holler at me when my leash is off too." She bragged about making a rookie's ankle touch the ground. She complained about her leash in a championship locker room, about a player who said absolutely nothing to her. That is Chennedy Carter. That is the pattern that has followed her for 5 years. Her minutes got cut immediately. She played under 10 minutes in 3 of her last 7 games. Hammon was asked on Friday why Carter's minutes were so limited in an overtime game against Chicago. She did not mention injury. She did not mention illness. She said Chennedy should be good to go, and said nothing else. That silence from a championship coach said everything we needed to hear. July 5th, 2026. Indiana Fever, without Caitlin Clark, on the road, on a back-to-back, walked into the Aces building and beat them by 16 points. Carter played 15 minutes, scored 0 points. Her last game in an Aces uniform was a scoreless performance in a blowout loss to the team of the woman she attacked. 2 days later, the Aces waived her, and here is the detail that makes the poetic justice complete. Aces fans, people who have nothing to do with the Clark situation, looked at this waiving and immediately knew why. One Aces fan posted, "I really need answers. Somebody explain to me what we are doing." Another wrote, "Must be a horrible locker room teammate." A third said, "We found that one very telling." Even the fans of the team that just cut her knew exactly what kind of teammate Chennedy Carter is. And Becky Hammon, the coach who believed in her when nobody else would, walked to the podium, was asked about Carter. 5 words. "We aren't going to comment on players that aren't here anymore." A closed door. No defense. No explanation. 5 words is all Chennedy Carter's Las Vegas chapter deserved, and that is exactly what it got. Now here is the contrast that makes this the most satisfying moment of the entire 2026 season. While Carter was in the Aces building, scoring 0 points, Clark was being named Eastern Conference Player of the Month. While Carter was posting on Threads about making ankles touch the ground, Clark was training with Steph Curry's personal trainer, Brandon Payne, in the off-season. She said, "I knew he worked with Steph. I love Steph's game. Just looking for creative ways to make myself better." While Carter was playing 15 minutes in her last game, Clark was dropping 45 points, franchise record, career high, greatest game in WNBA history. LeBron James commented on Clark's injury post last season, "Minor setback for a major comeback." He personally reached out and asked if there was anything he could do to help. When she dropped 45 points, he shouted it out immediately. Stephen A. Smith called Carter's pattern exactly what it is. There is a flagrant level of resentment that exists when it comes to Caitlin Clark. People resenting her star power and her cash. If they have an opportunity to go at her, they take it. Carter took it and ended up unemployed. Clark trained with Curry's trainer, won Player of the Month, dropped the greatest game in WNBA history. That is the difference between those 2 players in 2 sentences. The contrast between Clark and Carter is the entire story of this league, in 2 sentences. Here is the full picture, and every piece of it points to the same conclusion. June 2024. Hip check, flagrant 1, celebrating, harm encouragement post, league leading 4 flagrant fouls. Chicago Sky did not resign her. Locker room concerns, ability to attract players affected, overseas, Mexico, 1 year, Las Vegas, Aces, championship culture, elite coach, clean slate, second chance. May 2026, 20+ points, productive, fitting in. June 2026, Threads post about Azzi Fudd's ankle, minutes cut, silence from coaching staff. July 5th, 0 points against the Fever. Waived July 7th, Dream, Sparks, Sky, Aces, 4 teams, 5 years, same story. Reggie Miller, Indiana basketball royalty, NBC analyst, has watched this entire pattern from the beginning. He called the 2024 hip check exactly what it was. He has praised Clark on national broadcasts repeatedly. He and every Fever fan knew this conclusion was coming. Carter goes overseas again. Clark goes to the All-Star game in Chicago, July 25th, Eastern Conference Player of the Month, versus unemployed. The sport has spoken, and it could not have been more clear. Dream, Sparks, Sky, Aces, 4 teams, same story, hip check, harm post, 0 points, waived, Clark, Player of the Month, All-Star, 45-point franchise record, Carter, overseas, again, Becky Hammon, 5 words. We aren't going to comment on players that aren't here anymore. Subscribe for daily WNBA content. Drop a comment. Is this the karma Clark fans have been waiting for since June 1st, 2024? And is Chennedy Carter's WNBA career finally finished for good? Because 4 teams in 5 years with the same story says yes, and the sport agrees.